America's food supply is getting downright filthy these days, and it's not limited to greasy drive-through junk. We're talking about supposedly wholesome options like organic produce and even basic kitchen staples such as spices. A deep dive by Consumer Reports into 126 spice varieties available nationwide revealed a shocking truth. Roughly a third of them packed levels of heavy metals like lead, arsenic, and cadmium, high enough to raise serious health flags for folks who use them often. But hold on, that's not the half of it. Studies show that everyday Americans are carrying around glyphosate, the active chemical in tons of common weed killers, in their systems at concentrations way above what's considered safe in the European Union. This stuff's showing up in urine samples across the board, highlighting just how pervasive these contaminants have become in our daily diets. Let me put this straight as a health pro who's seen it all. The real threat isn't from a single shake of contaminated spices. It's the slow buildup over time. A dash of lead here, a sprinkle of cadmium there. And by the time you hit 60, your body's taking a serious hit, messing with your liver, kidneys, brain fog, bones, and joints. Stick around for this video where I'll break down the top 10 spice brands you should steer clear of, spotlight 5 trustworthy options, and share simple tricks to make your spices work for your health instead of sneaking in hidden harms. If you reckon you're nailing that clean eating lifestyle, you absolutely need to check out this video. You're ditching the soda, stocking up on organic veggies, easing off the red meat, and sticking to filtered water like it's gospel. It all feels spot on, like you've got your health locked down tight. But here's the kicker. Come morning, when you dash some cinnamon over your oatmeal or whip up a turmeric latte for that antioxidant boost, you could unknowingly be slipping heavy metals like lead, cadmium, or arsenic right into your system. You might think this all sounds a bit over the top, like some wild scare tactic. But trust me, it's the real deal. No urban legends or tabloid fluff here. This comes straight from hard data crunched by Consumer Reports, that no-nonsense independent tester right here in the US. They put 126 different spice samples under the microscope, and get this, about 1 in 3 blew past safe limits for heavy metals if you're using them day in and day out. We're not talking veggies, fish, or steak. This is hitting you in your everyday seasonings. That unassuming little jar tucked away in your spice rack? It could be the sneaky villain in your kitchen lurking right under your nose. The danger sneaks up because it all looks so innocent. We Americans shake them into our meals every day, just a pinch here and there. But it adds up over time. If those dashes are laced with toxic heavy metals, your body turns into a hidden warehouse for this stuff, building up quietly until it starts causing real trouble down the line. So, how does this mess even happen? It's shockingly straightforward. Spice plants naturally suck up metals from polluted dirt like a sponge. That's just how they grow. But things get uglier when shady producers, often from abroad, spike them on purpose to jazz up the looks. We're talking lead mixed into turmeric for that extra vibrant yellow glow, or fake dyes pumped into chili powder to crank up the fiery red hue. It's all about the bottom line for these companies. They're chasing profits, and guess who's footing the bill? You, the everyday consumer, without even knowing it. If you're north of 60, buckle up because the stakes skyrocket. Your body's natural detox defenses start to lag. The liver's not clearing out junk as swiftly. Kidneys are slower on the uptake with filtering blood. And everything from your bones to your nerves and memory gets way more vulnerable to these intruders. Even trace amounts of lead can wreak havoc. Zapping your nervous system, hammering your kidneys, and leaving you with that bone-deep chronic fatigue. Been spacing out more than usual? Dragging through the day for no clear reason? The culprit might be hiding in plain sight, right there in your spice rack. What floored me the most? This isn't just some fly-by-night operation issue. We're talking household name brands that have been called out in tests, slapped with warnings, even hit with lawsuits. Yet they're still flying off shelves like it's business as usual. Number 1. McCormick. Got some McCormick turmeric, oregano, chili powder, or cinnamon stashed in your pantry? Listen up, because this hits close to home. As the biggest spice player in the US, McCormick got dragged into a federal lawsuit in California by regular folks like you and me, not some watchdog group or the press. The beef claims that their popular spices were tainted with heavy metals like lead, arsenic, and cadmium, all without any heads up on the labels. We're not talking exotic rarities here. These were your go-to basics: turmeric, oregano, basil, ginger, thyme, and paprika. The case got tossed out, but not because the company cleared its name. It boiled down to the plaintiffs not having enough courtroom-proof ammo. Right on its heels, McCormick piped up about ramping up their game to cut down on those metals. Look, as someone deep in the health trenches, I've got to lay it out straight. Lead has zero safe threshold. Tiny bits can fry your nerve cells, mess with your smarts, and fog up your memory. Arsenic? It wrecks the tiny blood vessels feeding your ears, eyes, and brain power. And cadmium? That sucker hunkers down in your kidneys for up to 3 decades before it even thinks about leaving. The scary part? You won't notice it right away. It's like a slow drip filling up a bucket until it overflows. Number 2, 365 by Whole Foods Market. Folks often give the side eye to bargain bin spots, but Whole Foods, that's the gold standard for wholesome, organic vibes and rock-solid reliability. So, imagine the jaw drop when their 365 line popped up on those red flag lists for spice contamination. It hit like a gut punch for anyone banking on that premium promise. Here's the rub. Slapping an organic label on something doesn't magically shield it from heavy metals. Those certifications zero in on dodging pesticides and GMOs, but they skip right over polluted dirt, sketchy drying methods, or metal leaching packaging. From a metabolic standpoint, this is straight up alarming. Lead throws your thyroid into chaos, cadmium ramps up inflammation and messes with insulin sensitivity, and arsenic hijacks your body's uptake of key players like zinc and selenium, stuff that's crucial for keeping your brain sharp and your immune system firing on all cylinders. You could be hitting the gym religiously, dialing in your meals, and popping top-shelf supplements, only to torpedo the whole effort with these hidden daily doses. Number 3, great value. Walmart. Bargain hunting doesn't always pay off when it comes to your health. Independent tests have spotlighted great value spices for packing worrisome amounts of heavy metals, especially if you're reaching for them on the regular. And yeah, Walmart's been hit with lawsuits from ticked-off customers over these very issues. Skimping a couple bucks on that spice bottle now, it could rack up a hefty tab in doctor visits and meds down the road. Number 4, MDH. Sure, those imported spices pack a punch in the flavor department, but when they're coming from halfway around the world, keeping tabs on quality gets tricky real fast. MDH's run into major headaches with shipments getting bounced back for contamination woes, including ethylene oxide, a nasty chemical that's been tied to cancer risks. Several countries have slapped on alerts, outright bans, or pulled products off shelves to play it safe. Bottom line, when the supply chain's shrouded in mystery, every shake from that jar turns into a roll of the dice for your health. Number 5, Everest popular Indian spice brand. Everest recently faced recalls in places like Hong Kong and Singapore after tests revealed dangerously high levels of ethylene oxide, a chemical classified as a carcinogen that can pose serious health risks with long-term exposure. While stricter regulations in Europe and parts of Asia have pulled these affected batches off shelves quickly, some products are still available here in the US, where the FDA's response has been slower and standards differ. If a substance is considered too risky for consumers overseas, it's worth pausing to ask, why take the chance with something you're putting in your food every day? Your health deserves that extra caution. Number 6, La Fiesta Budget Friendly. Ground cinnamon brands like La Fiesta have come under fire after FDA testing uncovered elevated lead levels, a toxic heavy metal that can build up in the body over time, posing real risks especially to kids, from developmental issues to long-term health problems. These cheaper options often hit the shelves at discount stores, where rock-bottom prices can sometimes signal shortcuts in sourcing, testing, or quality control. Saving a few bucks is tempting, but when it comes to something you sprinkle on food regularly, cheap shouldn't ever mean putting your family's safety on the line. Opt for trusted brands and peace of mind instead. Number 7. Swad. The popular Swad brand of ground cinnamon has been hit with recalls after FDA testing detected elevated lead levels, a heavy metal that accumulates in the body and can cause lasting damage over time. Lead doesn't just pass through. It can store in bones, interfere with calcium absorption, and contribute to weaker bones, potentially raising the risk of osteoporosis, especially in older adults going through natural changes in bone density. No one wants to sprinkle something toxic into their favorite recipes. With safer options out there, it's smart to skip these affected batches and protect your long-term health, because strong bones matter at every age. Number 8. Astley. The lesser-known Astley brand of ground cinnamon recently got flagged by the FDA after testing showed elevated lead levels, a sneaky heavy metal that can quietly build up in your system and cause serious issues over time, from nerve damage to high blood pressure. These off-the-radar brands often fly under the radar, not dirt cheap enough to raise immediate red flags, yet not big name enough to face constant rigorous testing and oversight. That's exactly the blind spot where problems can hide the longest. When it comes to staples in your pantry, sticking with well-established transparent brands is a simple way to play it safe and keep hidden risks off your plate. Number 9. Paris cinnamon testing by the FDA turned up a shocking result for Paris ground cinnamon. One sample clocked in at a staggering 52 parts per million of lead, the highest level found across dozens of brands examined. This lesser-known brand doesn't get much attention, and that low profile can make it seem harmless. But obscurity is no guarantee of safety. Sometimes it just means fewer eyes are watching for problems. When a single spice packs that much of a dangerous heavy metal, it's a clear reminder to stay vigilant. Your family's health is worth choosing brands with proven track records and rigorous testing over rolling the dice on unknowns. Number 10. Badia. The well-known Badia brand, a staple in many American kitchens and grocery aisles, recently received an official warning from state health authorities after tests revealed elevated lead levels in some of its ground cinnamon products. Just because a brand feels familiar, something you've seen on shelves for years, doesn't automatically make it safe. That sense of comfort can lull us into letting our guard down, and that's often where the biggest risks sneak in. When it comes to the spices flavoring your family's meals, don't let brand recognition override caution. Stick with options that consistently prove they're putting safety first. Your peace of mind and health is worth it. Now let's talk about safer choices. Top picks for cleaner, safer spices. If you're worried about heavy metals sneaking into your favorite seasonings, and who isn't these days, there are some standout brands that prioritize quality, transparency, and testing to keep things as clean as possible. These options not only taste amazing, often with bolder, fresher flavors, but they also give you peace of mind through smart sourcing and rigorous checks. Here's a roundup of reliable choices that home cooks and chefs swear by. Number 1. Simply Organic. This brand regularly comes out on top in independent tests for low heavy metal levels. They're all about transparent practices and easy availability in most grocery stores, making it simple to stock up on vibrant, worry-free spices. Number 2. The Spice House. Known for grinding in small batches with quick turnover, they focus on controlled sourcing to minimize risks. The result? Super fresh spices that pack a punch, reducing the chance of contamination while delivering incredible taste. Number 3. Penzeys. They openly share their testing protocols and grind many spices in-house for better control. Plus, their intense flavors mean you use less overall, perfect for everyday cooking without overdoing it. Number 4. Diaspora Co. These single-origin spices are fully traceable, often from equitable partnerships with farmers. They emphasize testing from the soil up, leading to potent, pure profiles that elevate any dish with cleaner, more authentic notes. Number 5. Burlap and Barrel. With direct partnerships with small farms and full-batch transparency, this brand sets high standards for quality and ethics. Their spices are fresh, flavorful standouts that support fair trade while keeping safety front and center. Switching to these can make your meals tastier and healthier. Fresh, bold spices just hit different. Start small with a few favorites, and you'll notice the upgrade right away. Questions and answers. Question 1. Can I detox heavy metals from my body? Do I really need those special detox drinks or teas? Short answer, no. You don't need to buy any miracle detox juice, cleanse kit, or trendy tea to get heavy metals out of your system. Here's the straight talk so you can save your money and skip the hype. Those 3-day cleanses, 7-day detox teas, and herbal tonics you see all over social media, they won't magically pull lead, cadmium, or arsenic out of your blood or tissues. That's just not how it works. In actual cases of serious heavy metal poisoning, think industrial exposure or acute incidents, doctors use a proven medical treatment called chelation therapy. It's powerful, but it's done in a hospital or clinic under close supervision. Definitely not a DIY project with stuff from Amazon. For the rest of us dealing with everyday low-level exposure, like the kind that can build up from contaminated spices, the smartest move isn't chasing detox fads. It's simply stopping the source. Start by cleaning up your spice rack and choosing better brands, like the ones we talked about earlier. Your body is already equipped with an incredible natural detox system: your liver, kidneys, and gut. Give them a fighting chance by cutting back on incoming toxins, eating plenty of fiber-rich foods, staying well hydrated. Keeping a healthy weight over time, your body will gradually handle the cleanup on its own. It just needs less junk coming in and a little support. No expensive gimmicks required. Bottom line, focus on prevention with cleaner ingredients and consistent healthy habits. Patience and smart choices beat quick-fix detoxes every single time. Question 2. Organic spices cost way more. Are they actually worth the splurge? This is one of the most common questions I get, and it's a totally fair one. Nobody wants to drop double or more on a tiny jar of turmeric if it doesn't make a real difference. Let's break it down honestly. Yes, organic spices have some clear perks. Much lower pesticide residues, no synthetic fertilizers or chemicals, often better farming practices that support soil health and farmers. Those are solid wins if you're trying to cut down on chemical exposure overall. But here's the part a lot of people miss. Organic certification doesn't protect against heavy metals. If the soil where the plant grows is tainted with lead, arsenic, or cadmium, which happens in many parts of the world due to pollution or natural geology, the plant will soak those metals up just as easily, organic or not. Multiple independent studies and lab tests have shown that heavy metal levels in organic and conventional spices are often pretty similar. So, are organic spices worth it? It depends on your priorities. If you're mainly worried about pesticides and synthetic junk, yes, go organic. It's a meaningful step. If heavy metals are your biggest concern, the organic label alone isn't enough. What really moves the needle is the brand's transparency, third-party testing for every batch, and tight control over sourcing. Bottom line, organic is helpful and often a good choice. But when it comes to heavy metals, rigorous testing and smart sourcing beat the organic sticker every time. The best approach? Look for brands that combine both when you can, and always prioritize the ones that prove they're checking for contaminants. Your wallet and your body will thank you for being strategic about it. Question 3. If I cook spices at high heat, will the heavy metals just burn off or disappear? This is one of the biggest myths I hear all the time, and it's an easy one to fall for. Look, cooking is great for killing bacteria, reducing pathogens, and making food safe in a lot of ways. But when it comes to heavy metals like lead, arsenic, or cadmium, heat doesn't touch them. These contaminants are actual elemental metals or metal compounds. They're not organic material that can break down, evaporate, or get destroyed at normal cooking temperatures. Whether you're boiling a curry, frying up some veggies, roasting at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, or even grilling over high flames, those metals stay put. They don't vanish, degrade, or burn off. Sure, super high heat might dull the spice's flavor or zap some volatile oils, but the heavy metals, they're still hanging out in your dish, ready to tag along for the ride into your body. Bottom line, once a contaminated spice hits your pan, there's no cooking hack that will make it clean. You can't boil it out, bake it away, or fry it into oblivion. The real fix happens way before the stovetop. Pick trustworthy, tested brands from the start. That's the only reliable way to keep those unwanted metals out of your meals altogether. Prevention beats wishful thinking every single time. Question 4. What about those seasoning packets in instant noodles, packaged meals, or canned foods? Are they safe? This is a great question because honestly, most of us don't even think twice about dumping that little flavor packet into our ramen or grabbing a quick canned chili off the shelf. Here's the reality check. Those seasoning blends are often made from the exact same bulk spice sources as the cheap jars at the store, and sometimes they're even sketchier. Big food companies typically blend powders from a bunch of different suppliers to keep costs low. That setup means way less transparency, fuzzy origins, multiple hands touching the product, and almost zero info shared about testing. You have no clue where those spices were grown, how they were processed, or if anyone bothered checking for heavy metals like lead or arsenic. Does this mean you have to swear off instant noodles, boxed mac and cheese, or canned soups forever? Nope, not at all. They're fine as occasional treats or busy night lifesavers. But if you're making a real effort to cut down on heavy metal exposure, leaning on these packaged foods every day pretty much cancels out all the smart swaps you're making elsewhere. The most effective long-term play is straightforward. Cook more meals from scratch using individual spices from brands you know and trust. It gives you full control, better flavor, and real peace of mind. Start small, maybe just weekends or one meal a day, and you'll feel the difference without it being a huge hassle. Your body will thank you for it. Question 5. Why are spices with heavy metals still on store shelves? If they're a concern, it's one of the most common questions we get, and it's totally valid. If heavy metals like lead, arsenic, and cadmium are potentially harmful, why hasn't the FDA banned contaminated spices outright? The FDA does regulate food safety, but here's the reality. There are no strict federal limits specifically for heavy metals in spices. The agency focuses more on immediate threats, like bacterial outbreaks from salmonella that can make people sick fast. Heavy metal exposure, by contrast, is a slow burn issue. It builds up gradually over years of low-level intake, so it hasn't gotten the same urgent regulatory push. Instead, a lot of the guidance comes from voluntary standards set by the spice industry itself, through groups like the American Spice Trade Association. These aren't mandatory laws, so even if third-party tests reveal higher levels in a product, it can often stay legally available for sale. This isn't limited to one brand or grocery chain. It's a systemic shortfall in how long-term contaminants are handled across the food industry. Bottom line, you can't rely solely on government oversight here. Your best protection is being proactive and selecting brands that go above and beyond with rigorous testing and transparency. The hidden risk, hiding in plain sight. Your spice rack. Most people worry about occasional treats like tuna or processed meats when it comes to contaminants. But spices? They're the quiet heavyweight in your daily diet. Think about your routine. You might grill steak or eat fish a few times a week, but spices show up in practically every meal. A dash of oregano on pizza, a spoonful of cumin in chili, a sprinkle of paprika on eggs, or turmeric in your smoothie. These tiny portions add up quickly with consistent use. Because each pinch feels so insignificant, it's easy to overlook them. We grab whatever's cheapest or most convenient without checking sourcing, testing for heavy metals, or watching for fillers and tampering. Over time, though, those small daily doses don't vanish. They accumulate in your system. And as we age, our bodies become less forgiving of that buildup, potentially contributing to bigger health issues down the line. Kick off the new year site. Build a cleaner kitchen starting today. As we kick off 2026, imagine stocking your spice rack based on real facts, not guesses or whatever's cheapest on the shelf. That's the kind of upgrade that gives your body a serious win, cutting down on hidden toxins while making your food taste even better. And honestly, this is just the start. What do you want me to dive into next? Should I break down the turmeric powders, garlic powders, black pepper, or Chinese 5-spice blends worth avoiding, and the trustworthy ones you can actually feel good about buying? Or would you rather I tackle supplements, those trendy detox teas, everyday traditional foods, and the sneaky risks lurking in them? Drop a comment below and let me know what you'd like me to unpack next. Share your biggest kitchen concerns. I'm all ears. If this info hit home for you, go ahead and hit that follow button. I've got plenty more practical tips coming your way. Because let's be real, the heart of a healthier life starts right in your own kitchen.